And Iran in 1953 was going to nationalize their oil, and BP didn't want that. So America went in for save democracy in Iran and overthrew Iran for the client of the Dulles brothers, BP Oil. And then the next year they went, and same thing happened in Guatemala. That was the second regime change. And there has now been 89 regime changes since 1953 that were essentially CIA, the Five Eyes nations, NATO, which is a Nazi operation, as everything else was, and also our State Department.
Tinfoil hat. Oh, what the are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Revolution will be podcasted.
All right, welcome to Tinfoil Hat, live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. Just go to samtripoli.gold and use the promo code TINFOIL, and you too can get in on the precious metal game for as little as $50 a month, sent right to your door. Very excited to have our returning champion come back. She's been on multiple times, and every time is an adventure. We're very excited to have her on, and she just put out her book. Please welcome the powerful Mel K. How are you?
I'm doing great. So happy to be with you. Thank you for having me back.
Mel, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. It's never boring. It's always fun, and I'm so excited that you're here. Mel, for those who may not be familiar with your last couple appearances and your appearances on the Union of the Unwanted, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you? And then tell us about your book.
Yes, I have a show called The Mel K Show. I have a live daily show Monday through Friday on Rumble, 12 to 1:30 Eastern on X and Rumble. And then I do interviews at themelkshow.com. I also, spent 25 years out there in LA as a writer, and I ended up coming back to New York, and then we had the lockdowns. Then I started the Mel K Show, and now I'm obsessed with figuring out exactly what happened to our country and why I don't believe that we are a sovereign nation, nor do I believe that our government has that much power. And I want people to know what happened to our country in the aftermath of World War II, because essentially everything we learned is a lie. And I lay it all out in my book with all the information, and I think people will really get a firm understanding on how we got here and maybe how we can get out of it.
Mel, real quick, what is the name of your book? The link will be in the description.
It's called Infiltration Instead of Invasion. America Betrayed 1944 to 1954, which is when I believe our country was fully captured and to this day is still under the control of a supranational architecture above our nation.
I agree with that. So I saw you. Where did I see you? In Florida? When was the last time I saw you? I hung out with you.
No, I saw you at I saw your amazing show at Mothership in Austin.
Okay, I saw you in Austin. It was a great time. You and Nikki came back and hung out, and we had a great time. And I was like, hey, Mel, I got a couple jokes about you. She's like, I don't care. I'm half Catholic. And then we got into it. We got into a discussion, let me say, not into it, but we got into a discussion that yes. I felt was a really good discussion, and I think it's very important, and it's something that I've talked about for a long time, that, we got the Jew world order people out there, and they're going crazy, and I go, there's levels of this shit, and there's levels above that, and you and I kind of agreed on some stuff, which was, I think it's the Bank of England, and I always talk about how, it's like I always want to use the analogy of Mad Max in the Terror Dome. It's like you have that scene in the movie where Mad Max is going to fight Master Blaster. And, everyone thinks, you got Master Blaster, Blaster's America, Master is Israel. But the real power to me is Tina Turner up at the top making everybody fight. And then if they don't, she doesn't you don't fight the way she wants. She shoots you with an arrow. So I thought it was a great discussion, and I thought it was really great. I'm very excited to have you on. It's very funny. Yesterday, I have a show called Doom Scrolling, and we basically watch conspiracy clips from all over the internet. And one of this guy was getting into the real power of who's in America and how it came, and he mentioned the family. And everyone says they were watching it. And
no way.
And then he said the family, and my eyes just went, no. And everyone's like, he said the family. I'm like, no. Everyone's like, what's the family? And then they're writing the name.
Nope, making it worse.
I'm like, what are you doing? You're trying to get us canceled. We'll probably have something we'll have this after the show.
The one that got us in trouble?
Yeah. So he said, rating the video. Because I don't watch the whole video. I just watch enough to make sure it's got a couple things I need in the video because I want to react to it. If I would have saw he said that, I would never put that video out. But you're very famous for those episodes. And that's where our friendship started. You know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, the craziest part is if it wasn't for you, I don't know if I would have ever done a show because then you were like, well, come on, Union of the Unwanted. And then I was like, God, I have so much more to say. So thank you.
You're great at it. You're great at it. You're a really good, really great researcher, and you're very entertaining to listen to. So where do you want to start?
Well, I want to start with why I wrote this book, okay? Because it's really important that we understand everything that we learned about World War II, particularly after World War II, is a complete and total fraud on the American people. In fact, we have been lied to, looted, dragged into wars, all of this because the war for profit model that went into play before World War I has never ended. And it really created a post-World War II capture of the United States of America. And I think people need to understand where all our money has gone, what has happened to this country, and why it seems no presidents and our government has no power to change anything, no matter who wins. And so I dug into that. A lot of times when I speak, I open with the JFK speech from 1961 when he says that there's a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy. And he goes on to say it's infiltration instead of invasion, subversion instead of elections, manipulation instead of free choice, and guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. And people always said that speech was about communism. But I'm reading it and I say it, I know it by heart by now, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not about that. It's about something else. And I started digging into it, and kind of it led me to Switzerland during World War II. And I think that I understand what happened and where we are and why it's endless war for profit and the people just keep getting screwed. So I went through and I got all the documents and I lay it out and I pin it on essentially two brothers that the Dulles brothers, two Wall Street lawyers.
Scumbags.
Yeah. I mean, really, people have no idea the damage these two did to our country. And worse than that, I also have gotten to a place where I don't believe the CIA ever worked for the United States of America. I think the CIA was created to protect the international banking cartel and the global public-private partnership.
Their private security.
Yeah, it's an architecture, but above all nations that was created while our great-grandparents and grandparents were dying on the, in these horrible battles in Europe. And these guys were creating a protected architecture above all nations that still exists to this day on our own soil. And most people don't even know it. I don't even know if the presidents know it, but I know that multiple presidents have come and gone and done nothing about it. So I put a book out there. Hopefully, at least the people will know that the Dulles brothers sold our country out, and I believe when they walked in after World War II to the two highest unelected positions in the United States of America, the Secretary of State was John Foster Dulles, and the head of the CIA was Allen Dulles, that the State Department, CIA, USAID, National Endowment for Democracy all became tentacles of the international banking cartel and ceased to work at all for the United States of America until this day. And I think people need to understand how that happened.
Okay, a couple things. When I do say Bank of England, that does include Switzerland because that's where the Bank of International Settlements is.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
I watched this great video. It was basically about how George Bush, Daddy Bush, they called him Poppy Bush, No, that was his dad. But George Bush Sr., how he got in to the director of the CIA, because he was on path to be basically in charge of our international diplomacy, and he ends up being pushed into the CIA or walking into the CIA, and it goes really far back to basically the Skull and Bones. And if you kind of study the Skull and Bones, you'll see that basically almost every major power player comes out of this small group, and which goes back even farther to who created the Ivy League schools. And those Ivy League schools were created by British opium families. Each one created their own school to, ensure that their children had a head up on everybody else. So Daddy Bush was a Skull and Bones. George Bush Sr.'s dad, Prescott, was a Skull and Bones. In that group, when they were together, was Dulles. Alan Dulles was in the Skull and Bones when Prescott Bush was in the Skull and Bones, to the point that when the OSS folded, Alan Dulles took all of the best spooks and moved the OSS office to Prescott Bush's bank. They had office space in the bank. And this is the bank that was working with the Nazis, by the way, that got in trouble for working with the Nazis. So, and then we'll get into your research. But so there's this organization in the government that has zero oversight, and it's called the Presidential Intelligence Advisory Board, and they're the ones who help I'm air quoting like a motherfucker right now. Help digest the intelligence that's coming in. Yeah. What they're really doing is telling the president what to do. That's exactly what this group does. It's crazy because Prescott Bush, I believe, was on it. One of Prescott's buddies from Skull and Bones, and then JFK's father was on this board as well. And there's crazy shit with that and all the stuff that went down. So yeah, you're 100% like, once I saw the video, I'm like, it's so deep. People don't even have a clue. They're fighting over religions. They're fighting over race, sexuality. You're so lost. You're so lost. It's just all theater of the retarded.
Yeah, I mean, what you have to know is that it's all by design, and it was created. First of all, the Dulles brothers were Wall Street lawyers. You have to understand. They worked for Sullivan and Cromwell. John Foster Dulles was the main partner. Sullivan and Cromwell was on Wall Street, but they represented the international banks. So it wasn't an accident that Alan Dulles was the head of the OSS in Switzerland while the Bank of International Settlements was coming up. Now, the Bank of International Settlements, which most people don't know about, but still controls banking to this day, the Bank of International Settlements was created as a reparations bank after World War I.
Yeah.
But instead of reparations, they represented multinational corporations, Sullivan and Cromwell, including the Rockefeller Standard Oil and IG Farben in Germany. And IG Farben and Rockefeller Standard Oil of New Jersey went into an agreement that that John Foster Dulles drafted. And essentially, the reparations bank after World War I became the depository for rebuilding the army of Hitler in World War II all the way up. And what we should know is that IG Farben, people think they saw COVID and they think that the military industrial complex and the pharmaceutical industry are separate. No, they were always one and the same. The pharmaceutical companies were always military companies, and they still are to this day. And essentially, many people don't know this, IG Farben had a camp at Auschwitz where they worked 100,000 people to death creating synthetic rubber for Hitler and for the war. But what was going on in Switzerland was something very different. So we were always told that Switzerland was neutral.
Yeah, dude, that's my favorite thing. Yeah, you can just say you're neutral. Like, why doesn't Iran go, hey, we're neutral, dude. We're on nobody's fucking side. Like, how can Switzerland could do that?
Right. Well, they weren't, because Switzerland, essentially what was going on is that not only were they rebuilding the Hitler's military, but all of the international multinational corporations of the time and all of the international banks were meeting regularly while our great grandparents and grandparents were dying on the battlefields, creating a supranational architecture that would be above all nations, and then gave themselves immunity before the war even ended. And who was there was the head of the Reich Bank, so that's Schreff. Was one of the people. Then the head of the Bank of England, who was Montague Norman at the time, the head of Chase Bank, and also the five banks of the Five Eyes nations were also there. And essentially, they were taking the money in that was being looted and laundered and stolen into the Bank of International Settlements and continuing normal business. Nothing stopped in Switzerland when it comes to international banking during the war at all. In fact, Nazi Germany made tens of billions of dollars. And what happened was they started to realize that they were going to lose, or at least Hitler was going to surrender. So all of these bankers met also with Himmler and all of the inner circle of Hitler and all of the heads of the corporations like Daimler-Benz and Krupp and the International Steel and all these companies, and then all the bankers in 1944. And they came up with a plan to launder all of the money out of Nazi Germany before Hitler surrendered through the Vatican Bank into Argentina, and much of that money into America, into subsidiaries of these German companies and front companies to plan for a World War III. So what they were saying was, let's get all the money out, we'll go underground for a while, and then we'll create the Reich again and rise. So they were willing to sacrifice Germany, but not the Nazi party.
Okay. Pin that thought. You've told us so much. We have to digest just a couple bits. There's a lot going on. You brought up reparations. The Bank of International Settlements was created to deal with reparations out of Germany. That's the purpose of it. Now, if you don't know, if you listen to the show, you know what the Bank of International Settlements. If you just showed up today, let me tell you, it is the centralized bank of all the centralized banks. This is headquarters for the centralized bank. What I just found out just a short time ago, like a couple months ago, is that it's also a sovereign nation, meaning that it's, sovereign territory, meaning it is in Switzerland, but it is not part of Switzerland. It does not follow any rules of Switzerland. It does not pay taxes of Switzerland. And we see this in a couple other places. We see this in the city of London, the Vatican. And this is the craziest thing. The District of Columbia, okay? And everyone's, we're going to make it a state. You're never going to make it a state as long as you have the international banking cabal. DC will never be a state, which is super crazy, because if you understand that the reason you pay taxes in America is because you're a U.S. citizen, but you don't really know what that means. What that actually means is that you are a resident of the District of Columbia.
It's funny you say that, because the people in District of Columbia have their whole line about wanting to be a state is taxation without representation. That's kind of the line in DC.
Yeah, because the guy that works at fucking Jamba Juice doesn't understand what the fuck's going on, and that they're actually not a part of the United States. They're actually part of the global cabal. And so you have to pay taxes because you are a citizen of the District of Columbia. That's how they sold it when they brought tax. They go, listen, we're not going to tax everybody. We're just going to tax the people in D.C., okay? And everyone's like, oh, that's cool. But they don't realize through backdoor deals and shadiness and a bill that is 1,000 pages that you have 2 hours to read, that in
that's the best, isn't it? Oh.
In that is, you are now a resident of the District of Columbia. That's the only, there's like the island of Samoa. There's like only a couple territories that legally have to pay taxes to the United States government. And that is, one of them is the District of Columbia. So if you live in Washington State, you are a resident of the District of Columbia, which is a sovereign territory. I just found out that Lake Havasu, I guess, is a sovereign territory because weird shit goes on down there.
The one in Arizona?
Yeah. that's its own territory because that's where some shady shit goes down.
Shit.
Right? It's so dark. It's like keep fighting over race, everybody. Because that
that's
matters.
all by design.
Yeah.
No, that's all a fraud. And even bigger than that, you should know that they came up with the international banking system at Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, during the war, right after D-Day, before the end of the war, and they created the IMF and the World Bank to be right underneath the Bank of International Settlements. And then right away, these Wall Street lawyers, they created something called the International Organization Immunity Act of 1945, which protects the Bank of International Settlements and the IMF and the World Bank and 63 other banks. All of them have full and total immunity from search and seizure, from audit, from investigation, from legal action to this day. That is still in place. And then they extended that to the United Nations, UNESCO, World Health Organization, and 76 other United Nations attached organizations, and all of them are still protected to this day from any kind of investigation, any kind of audit, any kind of legal action, taxes. They don't pay taxes. And on top of that, a lot of them are in U.S. soil. So both the IMF and the World Bank are in Washington, D.C., and the United States government has zero jurisdiction over them, cannot even go on their premises without permission. That also includes the UN. They can't investigate them. They can't audit them. They can't have legal action against them. They're completely immune because of this 45 International Organization Immunity Act that is still in power. So on U.S. soil, there's about 100 international organization and banking organizations that are totally immune, yet on U.S. soil, but we have no jurisdiction over them.
Yeah, 100%.
And that means we're not a sovereign nation, at all.
I completely agree, dude. And it's levels to this shit. They want you mad at this group and that group, but that's low hanging fruit. Because at the end, at the top, is all Babylonian sorcery, dude. It's all Babylon. You're battling sorcery. That's what you're doing. And the sorcery comes in different forms. Freemason, Jesuit, Cabal. It's all fucking sorcery, dude. And and it just bleeds into all these Abrahamic religions, manipulates these religions to do certain things, to fight with each other. Do you know why? Someone told me this the other day, and I thought it was I think it was Gerald that was on a show. Gerald Michael. He goes, do you know why you can't draw the Prophet Muhammad? And I go, no, why? He goes, because if you did, you would realize he's pale skin and redheaded. He's not from the fucking region. And then you have a Queen Elizabeth going, hey, I'm a direct descendant from the Prophet Muhammad and Vel the Impaler. I mean, like, what a crazy family tree. Like, those are literal words. She literally came out and said that. The Prophet Muhammad is a relative of the royal family.
Well, they sure love him. If you've ever seen Prince Charles King Charles talk about it.
Well, wouldn't you love your cousin too, dude? You'd be like, that's my cousin, dude. Yeah. Show him some love.
Sometimes they love him a little too much in the royal family, if you know what I mean.
Oh, Jesus. It's so deep, and you're these people fighting over stupid shit. You know, we just had a show on where we were talking about how they don't want you looking into the past at all. You know, they don't want you to know history, and
they're erasing it.
Yes.
We don't know history, and that's a big part of why I wrote the book, because the truth is that since 1953, the State Department has not worked for us. They are part of this international globalist entity, and they have looted and laundered all of our money. In fact, they set it up so that the United States, essentially, their goal was the Fourth Reich. After they laundered all the money out into America and elsewhere, the goal was to rebuild the Third Reich for a Fourth Reich, and a third try at what the goal was, which was destroying Russia, turning it into little pieces, stealing all of its natural resources, uniting Europe, and then running the world between Geneva and Brussels, using the Bank of England and the Vatican Bank for the financial side, and then using the blood and the money of the U.S. taxpayers to fund it all. And that is exactly what's happened. The U.S. taxpayers have paid for the entire Cold War, which, of course, was a war on a tactic, not an enemy, and the tactic and the enemy changed anytime they felt like it. Then we paid for the entire war on terror, which was a war on tactic where they changed the enemy whenever they wanted to, eventually turned it on us in 2016. And worst of all, it was already planned long ago. The entire global warming thing was already a thing by the end of World War II. And we paid for that too, the entire thing, including the rebuilding of the entire Europe after World War II and the German Marshall Fund, which we rebuilt Europe and built the EU. And then we funded the entire global warming thing, which has always been about capturing all the natural resources on the planet for an eventual totalitarian, technocratic system of global governance through global public infrastructure. So all of this was built, I believe, by the time the Dulles brothers entered the White House in 1953, the country was totally captured. And that's exactly when regime change operations started. The first one being the Dulles brothers represented with Sullivan and Cromwell BP Oil. And Iran in 1953 was going to nationalize their oil, and BP didn't want that. So America went in for save democracy in Iran and overthrew Iran for the client of the Dulles brothers, BP Oil. And then the next year they went, and same thing happened in Guatemala. A client of Sullivan and Cromwell, United Fruit, was in Guatemala. Guatemala wanted to change their farming rules, and United Fruit did not want that. And in fact, Alan Dulles was on the board of United Fruit, and that was the second. That was the second regime change, and there has now been 89 regime changes since 1953 that were essentially CIA, the Five Eyes nations, NATO, which is a Nazi operation, as everything else was, and also our State Department. So, I mean, all of this is about the international banking cartel and the global public-private partnership of the banking cartel. So, they turned it on us in 2016, and what I see, I think
they turned it on us in 2001. I think that was the beginning of this, where we get into the Patriot Act. And then
that was the next phase in the operation. I think when I talk about 2016, they turned the entire regime change, the operation that they've been doing in Europe and in South America. When Donald Trump won the election in 2016, I don't know if you know this, but a whole bunch of CIA operatives that have been working in Ukraine and Europe to set up World War III since the end of World War II, essentially, they wrote a letter to General Flynn right after Donald Trump was elected in 2016, essentially saying that Donald Trump could not be president, that he was existential threat because he would change the foreign policy in Europe, and that they would not allow him to do that. And they wanted to have an emergency meeting. Flynn ignored them. 3 weeks later, Flynn was gone. They sent the same letter to McMaster. He ignored them. And as Steve Cash, who runs the CIA NGO known as the SteadyState.org, he said that the CIA guys that have been running Europe, Czech Republic, and Ukraine, and everywhere since the fall of the USSR, basically turned the entire operation on the United States. So,
Operation Gladio.
Yeah.
That's
exactly. And we've been in it since then.
Yep. Hey, guys, listen. Life insurance is a part of life. It can be uncomfortable to talk about, and it can be very difficult to figure out. And that's where our good friends at Ethos come in. They match you with the best insurance company out there for the lowest prices. So let me tell you about Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exams. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage, okay? Some policies are as low as $30 a month. Ethos has a 4.8 of 5-star on Trustpilot and over 3,000 reviews. So here's what we need you to do. Help protect your family with life insurance through Ethos. Get your instant free quote at ethos.com/tinfoil. That is ethos.com/tinfoil. Application times and rates may vary, and we thank them for sponsoring the show. Listen, here's the whole thing. There's things that Trump does that I have major problems with, okay? And you know, people always, I get called a fascist, a Nazi, all this fucking shit in LA. And it's so funny because I'm for as little government as possible.
Me too.
I want to isolate. I don't want to go and do everything that Mel's talking about, overthrowing governments for fucking peaches or whatever we overthrew it about. You know, banana. That's where Banana Republic comes from. Because we overthrew a country, take over the banana fucking industry. Like, I don't want any of that. I don't want taxes. I don't want fucking any of that, okay? So I'm the farthest thing from a fucking fascist, okay? I can call out both sides. I personally would like to live in a conservative society with a fucking liberal rebellion, okay? Meaning that there's the fucking artists and everybody creating art, but most people can't handle progressivism. They aren't built to understand this demonic shit that's getting pushed on them, and they just fucking spiral out of control. I just was talking to a friend of mine. Her friend works in either Portland or Seattle in a mental health facility, and he says the majority of the people that are coming in are trans that cut their junk off.
Whew.
Okay?
Yeah,
so they were lied to, told they were going to be unicorns, and they got their fucking horn clipped, and now they're just a horse, and they don't know what the fuck to do with it, okay? And it sucks. But we told you that was going to happen. We said this was going to happen, man, and you didn't listen to us because propaganda is so powerful, dude. It's so powerful, it overrides your basic instincts to survive. Survive, breed, have children, do all that shit. Kills it, dude. Kills it. But real quick, so, you know, I'm going to say something. Do I have problems with Trump? 100%. If they had I didn't vote for either of them. I don't vote for presidents. I don't trust anybody in that position. That's just me. But, you know, if they had an election today, Trump would win again. Nobody wants Kamala Harris in. And you can go, well, this, and this, Strait of Hormuz and all that shit. I totally agree with that. But we haven't had boots on the ground, okay? We haven't had boots on the ground. We know that fucking USAID now is fucking funding every cultural uprising around the fucking world. We now know that the fucking Southern Poverty Center is behind all this fake ass fucking cultural chaos, okay? Dude, it's so bad. They're there to fight Nazis while they're simultaneously funding and fucking Nazis. Like, this chick's literally banging this Nazi and has a fucking bank account with him.
It's amazing.
With a Nazi.
Yeah. One thing I push back on is that I think it's possible that we may never see boots on the ground again, ever. And I don't think that should maybe be the standard, because we can kill just as effectively now civilians. And
I agree with you.
I mean, there's something to that. There's something to that, but traditional war has been boots on the ground. Again, I have problems with Trump, but I like his comedy. Okay, I do. I think he's funny.
Oh, he's hilarious.
I would rather have a funny one than
him
a
with journalists is the best thing. Yeah,
100%. So it's that we listen. If you follow Q. And we all know Q was like a fucking Jeffrey Epstein, fucking Bannon, fucking PSYOP, but it was Operation Trust, and they had to tell you what was going on. That's the point of Operation Trust. They actually tell you the truth to corral all the conspiracy theorists to pacify them. So you know all this shit's going on. But, dude, more and more people are talking about all this shit ever before. And guess what? You would never have fucking had that come out if Trump wasn't in office. He's a chaos magician. I hate to tell you guys, if we had Kamala Harris, we would be hearing none of this. The media would be running cover. There's actually something very good about when the media doesn't like the president. They actually call him out on shit that he's doing. You've never seen that with. I saw people going, "Oh man, Obama, if he was in this, Obama, he should get back in the White House and have a cookout on the front lawn." I'm like, he already did. It cost him $65,000 for fucking pizza and hot dogs. Like the fact that you don't look at Obama as who is a fucking Bush. He's a Bush. And you don't look at him like you look at all the other guys is absolutely insanity to me. So when I say that, that's what I'm saying. I don't vote for presidents. I'm actually an anarchist now. After this election, I have no faith in voting. Welcome. As long as you have fucking mail-in ballots, you're never going to have a real election again. Ever again. Right. So I don't believe in any of it. But like Trump makes me laugh. I have a lot of problems with stuff that he's doing, but there's things that I like. And you know what, man? We're talking a lot with like the left is actually talking about Epstein. They never like, I love the left. They're like, oh my God, these bunch of pedos. You mean like the Democrats that kicked this whole shit off fucking 8 years ago before you got told by the media that this is something? Like we've been talking about Hillary and Obama and fucking the Clintons and all this shit forever.
They coined this phrase they use a lot now on the left. The Epstein class is what they want to apply it to wealth also. So they call it the Epstein class. It's kind of their. It's really a brilliant propaganda move to call it that because it kind of gets our people into the
but Johnny,
class warfare.
There's this really great video out there. If you guys ever get a chance to watch it, I did a premium content view of it, and it's called Epstein and Occult Magic. Occult.
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah, it's really good. But the best part of it is that there have been Epsteins through history, like in the 1300s, the 1500s, the 1600s, and it's the same exact play. Person gets busted. They find out what they're doing to kids. Him and his cohorts get taken out, and the fucking clients never ever get in trouble, dude. And it's been happening for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. The elites get away with this fucking shit. But the fact that they think it's a Republican thing is,
oh my God,
is so retarded.
Ridiculous.
So dumb.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, but you know, from all of Epstein's files, and because we all have been covering it for 10 years, Epstein was like I said, the Dulles brothers, Alan Dulles, created the CIA in tandem with the Five Eyes nations and with MI6 and likely Mossad. So I think that entire thing is an international intelligence operation above nations that doesn't serve any of our nations, is really protecting that architecture of post-World War II power. So to me, Epstein, like when people are trying to decide who Epstein worked for, it doesn't matter. He was part of this architecture that has protected itself. And
Robert Maxwell worked with MI5 and the KGB and the CIA. He worked with all of them. Mossad, he worked with everybody. Same thing with Epstein.
Because it wasn't created to protect nations. It was created to protect the banking, international banks from the people. The whole thing is that. And, you know, you're bringing up propaganda and all of that. Something else that I found, Alan Dulles was obsessed with, you know, MK Ultra comes out of Nazi Germany. They did tens of thousands of experiments. They had all these different behavioral scientists and all kinds of things. And we are under right now, it seems to me, the Colonel Aquino, you know, the Satanist that ran the United States Army psychological operations in the 50s under Alan Dulles and them. He went to to a castle of Himmler. And this is true. And he summoned demons, Colonel Aquino, and then came back to America and wrote that Mind Wars, which is exactly the psychological operation that MK Ultra evolved into to capture the entire country. And I really do believe that was a extension of the occult whole background of what Hitler and all of them were doing when they were summoning demons.
Hitler was in Tavistock in 1913 with Hess. Which is where the genesis of MK Ultra started. There's a painting of him. They're like, oh, it's a fraud. Okay, doesn't fit your narrative. In sitting on a bridge, he was MK Ultra too. They all were, dude.
And the goal was to create Manchurian candidates and programmable humans, they did it.
Yep.
And they did it. And you know, if you go and look at the D-class of Colonel Aquino's Mind Wars, it's exactly what we've been living through. You know, when you go and I know you've seen it, when you look at Yuri Bezmenov, when he tells G. Edward Griffin in the 80s that the operation to destroy America would be the first phase demoralization, and that would take 3 generations, essentially. What he was saying was that it would take a generation from kindergarten all the way through high school to be brainwashed from the beginning to the end,
Yep.
and then the country would be demoralized. Well, now we have the Democrat Socialist of America, which is a globalist funded progressive movement taking over New York and Los Angeles and other places. Well, it's the same exact totalitarian platform as the National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany, which is actually what the Nazis were. So a lot of this goes back to this European socialism of the Reich and recreating it again and having people not fully realize. And all of the MK Ultra stuff with the LSD, I learned, was really a long-term plan to medicate all children from birth in the United States and around the world. In fact, Eli Lilly was the one supplying LSD to the CIA. Well, 20 years later, they start prescribing Prozac. And a lot of people believe that was the through line, was to get as many people on mind-altering drugs as young as possible without it being obvious.
Think about this. What is all of Silicon Valley doing? They're all on Adderall, and they're all on microdosing.
Yeah.
Which is exactly
Adderall.
what Haight-Ashbury was a giant open-air fucking experiment in the effects of psychedelics and methamphetamines.
Yep, and that's what was going on in Germany. I mean, it's all connected, and the really seriously disturbing part is that I feel that a lot of people from our own country were really in on it, and they knew what they were doing. In fact, I think the Dulles brothers were on the side of the Nazis. So it's very hard for people. They've made such a caricature of the of Nazis, but Nazis really are totalitarian eugenics based ideology.
I mean, you brought up IB Farman. I mean, like, they had a German board and they had an American board, and the American board was full of people from like fucking the New York State Federal Reserve heads were on them. Major bankers, major corporations were all on this board that funded Hitler. Had a best friend, and that best friend was best friends with FDR.
Shit.
It was 1 degree from each other.
Yeah, and they all met in Switzerland all throughout the war, and as if nothing was going on. I mean, what was going on in Switzerland was them creating a supranational banking system, and it really goes from there. And when you talk about all of this stuff that we're seeing now with USAID and CIA, this was all created in about 18 months. While we were in the United States celebrating some kind of win, they were figuring out how to loot and launder our money for the rest of our lives and steal our birthright and make sure we didn't notice. And you brought up earlier progressivism. Well, that came in with Wilson, who was a total traitor. And he brought in not just progressivism, but Wilson also brought in the Federal Reserve and the IRS.
Biggest treasonous scumbag.
Yeah,
Wilson
and then don't forget,
is the worst of all of them. Closeted, probably
traitor.
Closeted, blackmailed. Nobody wanted to know he's getting up in that ass. And he basically signed 2 bills on Christmas Eve when everyone was home. He signed the Federal Reserve bill, and he signed the tax bill where people had to start paying taxes. And nobody voted on it.
Right, and the Federal Reserve is not federal nor a reserve, nor does the United States have jurisdiction over it. So, I mean, but everyone is allowed this to go on, and that is the most disturbing part. The person running the Bank of International Settlements that was taking in money from the Nazis, taking in money from the Bank of England, pushing money around, took all the gold that was stolen from Czechoslovakia and other places.
United States.
Was an American.
There's no gold in Fort Knox. Dude, we had a big story on that. Control Alt History did it, where like one day Nixon puts us on the gold standard that was probably going to happen, but he literally went down to Fort Knox and goes, "Let me see the gold," and they're like, "There's no gold here." So this story comes out in the New York Times in which a whistleblower says that the Rockefellers stole all the gold and gave it to all the European elites. The next day, it comes out the whistleblower is the Rockefeller secretary. And then the next day after that, she conveniently jumps off her balcony and dies.
Right.
Couldn't live with the guilt of betrayal.
She couldn't live with the guilt, dude. She was just so devastated that she had to jump. And so that's why. And then Trump's always like, we're going to audit the Federal Reserve. I go for. I could do it for you. Here it is, zero. There's no gold there. That's why we're on the oil standard. And then you can get into the Saudis. You want to get into MI5? The Saudis, the head of the House of Saud, the first king was a British spy installed by MI5 to control Mecca. Okay? And like we've said before, greatest gig of all time. Greatest gig ever was you were in charge. You were put as the head of the House of Saud. That was your job. He just signed up to be an intelligence agent, and then they're like, here's your assignment. I'm running the House of Saud. Yep. And now your descendants are the richest people in the world and just get to do weird shit with fucking hot Instagram models for the rest of your life. I mean, dude, you are just living the greatest life of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, all the borders of the Middle East are fake borders made by the Bank of England.
But also, after the USSR, we've been fighting a war in Ukraine. Ukraine's never been a sovereign nation. It's never been a democracy. In fact, Obama overthrew with NATO the government in 2014 and then replaced it with Americans. So I don't even know. We're not fighting to save a democracy in Ukraine. We're fighting to continue the endless war for profit model that these international banks have been running since World War I. So again, they just don't want us to realize that, I guess.
Yeah, and like everyone's talking about Gaza as they should, and everyone's talking about Lebanon like they should, but nobody's talking about the 1.5 million Christians that have been thrown into the meat grinder in the Ukraine, like grabbed off the street, thrown right in to die. I mean, nobody's talking about that at all. And we talk about, I mean, everyone's like, if Kamala Harris is in none of this stuff in the Middle East, bullshit. They called him Genocidal Joe because he was doing nothing about it.
Like, what's the average age of the Ukrainian warrior? What's the average age? It's like 40, 35? No, I was talking age. No, how old they are, how they're just picking them up because they have no young people to fight for no more.
All the young ones are dead.
Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at Jack Archer. Listen, okay, ordering pants online can feel like gambling. Will they fit? Won't they fit? Will they look the same after a few hours? Finding a pair that works shouldn't require all that guesswork.
Jack Archer's Jet Setter Tech Pant is the everyday pant made to look polished, feel comfortable, and work across every part of your body. Instead of needing different pants for work, travel, and weekends, the Jet Setter Tech Pant is designed to do more with one pair. Built for the office, the golf course, date nights, and everything in between. Made with flexible fabric, you can stay comfortable and put together whether you're sitting at the desk, walking through an airport, or heading out to dinner. They're also wrinkle resistant, stain repellent, and machine washable, so you can spend less time worrying about your clothes and more time doing what you actually want to be doing. Pull them out of a suitcase and they're ready to wear. Spill coffee on them, you just wipe it off and you keep moving. The best part, they won't look saggy and worn out like other pants do. These pants hold their shape day after day, wash after wash. The Jet Setter Tech Pant has over 6,000 5-star reviews because it's exactly what guys are looking for. A comfortable, polished pant they reach for no matter what they're doing.
Right now, Jack Archer is offering our listeners 15% off your first order with promo code GetJack. Go to jackarcher.com, use the promo code GetJack for 15% off your first order and see why thousands of people have given the Jet Setter Tech Pants 5 stars. That's jackarcher.com, promo code GetJack for 15% off your first order. I love this idea, and I hope you do too.
Yeah, and this is all the CIA's been running. Victoria Nuland said it in front of Congress in 2015 that essentially the CIA took over the banks, the government, the police, the courts in 2014 when John McCain and Lindsey Graham and all of them were there cheering on the overthrow of a duly elected president in Ukraine. And you know why they overthrew him? Because he, the president that really won in 2014, he didn't want to join the EU and he didn't want to be in NATO. He wanted to reunite with Russia and the motherland, and they weren't going to let that happen, particularly USAID and the CIA. And that's really what I mean. I think the entire war in Ukraine is a cover up, because going back to the period I'm talking about, the SS was really based in Ukraine. The worst of the worst of the SS was out of Ukraine. And Alan Dulles made sure that no Ukrainians were held accountable in Nuremberg. And then at the same time, I don't know if you know this, Alan Dulles was very close with the head of Hitler's intelligence operations, Gehlen, and he put Gehlen, when we supposedly won, in charge of West Germany. That was Hitler's head of intelligence, and then swallowed almost all of Hitler's highest level intelligence agents into the CIA. So everything that was going on in Europe, including the building of the EU, the starting of the World Economic Forum, the setting up since the 90s of Ukraine to be the hub for World War III, has been going on since the 40s. And that's why this whole model of what they were doing, that's why the CIA freaked out when Donald Trump won, because they had already been planning, I believe, World War III to kick off underneath Hillary Clinton. And then the solution to World War III was Agenda 2030 and global governance and the end of nation states. So I think there's everything that's going on in Ukraine is really about covering up decades of manipulation. And don't forget, George Soros Open Society went into a agreement with USAID in 1991. And then in 1993, George Soros put out his NATO World Order document. And this is after, Gorbachev and Reagan, in ending the USSR, agreed to end NATO. So everything that's happened is really, with NATO also being a Nazi creation, everything that's happened with NATO is to continue the war for profit model. They keep creating issues.
Operation Gladio. That's what NATO is.
And the first one, when after George Soros, he really had a lot to do with Bill Clinton getting to the presidency, and a lot of people don't know that. But he had already been infiltrating everywhere in the EU area, like for eventually the EU. But his document that he wrote was essentially followed, and the first bombing that Clinton did to restart NATO was of Yugoslavia, and accidentally they hit the Chinese embassy in Yugoslavia, and to apologize, they offered them to enter the World Trade Organization. And then that's when they started liquidating all of the manufacturing in America, because George Soros is part of the international banking cartel. So, I mean,
it goes even crazier. So the U.S. military would make deals with countries that if they allowed them to put bases in their country, they could do free trade with America. They could send their goods there, and they could tariff any goods coming out of America. I mean, So then think about that. There's no jobs anywhere. Where are you going to work? Oh, there's military jobs. You could join the military. There's work there. Come join us. There's no work anywhere else. It's why when people go off on Islamic jihadists, and you could hate these guys, I fucking get it. They're all proxy armies, and their economies are fucked. There's no other jobs. There's no other jobs in these shithole but joining a fucking proxy army. There's no other jobs. There's zero. There's no manufacturing anywhere. There's no fucking, everything's been bombed the fuck. Where are you going to go? That's exactly what they're doing to America. Get rid of all the jobs. Only thing left is to join the military.
Well, not for much longer. And, the real issue right now is that we are in a captured color revolution in America, 100%. And everything that is going on is to destroy us from within. And it's sadly, it looks like it's gaining traction if you look at New York, because you might not know this. Most of Obama's history is hidden, but his father, Obama, was brought over to America from Kenya in something called the Kennedy airdrop. This was a CIA operation to go get people in Kenya and Uganda and to bring them here and train them in the CIA to then do soft power in their countries. Well, Mamdani's father also came over on the same Kennedy airdrop as Obama's father in that CIA program. Yes, true story.
Oh my God, the Democrats are all fucking
Kennedy airlift. They're the CIA. And then you look at a lot of people don't know, Obama also, his mom was USAID, and then his second father, Sotoro, was a Bush person, but he went back to Indonesia during a color revolution. And Obama went and lived there with his mom, who worked for USAID and was teaching English there.
She was also MK Ultra sex kitten.
Yeah, I think so too.
Pimped out by her father.
Yeah, and essentially, and the grandmother and the father worked for the bank and the East-West Institute, both CIA operations in Hawaii. So, I mean, the goal was to create Manchurian candidates. So, essentially that worked
100%, dude.
Yeah.
100 subversion. It's all subversion, infiltration, like your book says. 100%. And like a lot of people don't know, so there's this famous 60 Minutes piece back when 60 Minutes did great work, and they interviewed this Boston lawyer.
Oh, so it's really old then,
dude. It's grainy as shit, and it's like, this guy is like, I think he's still alive. I should get him on the show, but he was talking about how like he just wanted to know what's going on with all these fucking Nazis everywhere. So he was doing deep diving. He kept doing Information Act on the CIA, and they eventually had to agree to it. And they told him, you can go in, but you can't take any notes. You get 1 day, this time to this time, to read as many documents as you can. You can't take any notes. So he goes in and he finds out that Eisenhower, Nixon, and a Rockefeller are basically the people who brought the Nazis over in an operation. And that's why none of them changed their names. You're not hiding. You crip walked over here. You fucking crip walked.
Well, dude, they weren't ashamed though. Not Nuremberg.
But that's the
changed
whole
all
thing,
that.
Johnny.
They didn't even they thought that they were about to turn around and start fighting the Russians with the Americans.
100%.
When they got their medals stripped off. I mean, Goering, when he surrendered, he thought he was like a hero going into the enemy lines.
100%, Johnny.
And then when they took his medals off, he was like God. They couldn't believe it.
That's why they didn't change their names.
Yeah, they were proud.
They had
but something else happened. It's in the book in the whole thing, Operation Paperclip. But I have to tell you that another guy that most people don't know about, his name was McCloy. He was put in charge of Germany by the U.S. when we were occupying it after the war. He went in. So 10 guys from IG Farben were charged and convicted in Nuremberg. He went in and got them out and put them back in their positions in their
oh my God
stuff. Yeah, and then and it gets much worse. That's and at the same time, Alan Dulles is taking the highest level Nazi intelligence officers and swallowing them into the CIA, bringing many of them here. But what I learned, Annie Jacobson wrote the best book, Operation Paperclip, on that. That was 1,600 of the best scientists of Nazi Germany. But what it turns out is that that's just the tip of the iceberg. In fact, a lot of people, McCloy went in that were sentenced in Nuremberg, and he got them out and gave them, whitewashed their backgrounds, took their families and them and brought them to America. And there were thousands of them. In fact, they got a lot of professors. They got people that were the best propagandists in Nazi Germany. It looks like thousands of people because when Milei won in Argentina, Chuck Grassley contacted him and asked him to look into the files that Perón had hidden of the Nazis that went through Argentina, and also to look into the Swiss bank. So UBS bought Credit Suisse, and it was really all of the banks there. So right now in Switzerland at UBS, there is a Grassley-Milei joint investigation trying to find all of the rat lines of money that left Nazi Germany that I talk about in my book and went through the Vatican Bank and the Bank of England into Argentina through Perón and then into our country. But what it turns out is that they were bringing over people that started new divisions in colleges and universities. We didn't have anything called sociology or behavior science, or a lot of this came from Nazi Germany and experiments being done on prisoners all over Germany. So we also inherited their top level propagandists, which a lot of them went into our media and into Hollywood with new names, whitewashing their backgrounds. And this is true. They're thinking probably there was at least 15 to 17,000 Nazis with their families that came into America through that program. And it was this guy, McCloy, and Alan Dulles that were, really involved there. And also, I think that they started setting up Ukraine to be the hub of the Fourth Reich before the end of World War II. I mean, that whole story about the Red House papers, people can look it up. It's crazy, but they believe that they could let Germany fall, but that the Reich would rise again. And right now, if you look at the EU, I don't know how to say anything other than it looks like a Reich. And we have to keep saying Nazis are not caricatures. They're totalitarians that believe in eugenics and that there's a superior race of people that should rule over everyone, and no dissent and all of that. It's an ideology, but we've made it such a joke that you can call anyone a Nazi, but it is somebody who does not believe that there is free will or that people can make their own choices. There's no liberty. There's no free speech. There's no anything. It is complete and total control by the state.
Yeah, I mean, it's so deep, and people just don't understand it. You know, it's like everyone's like, we got problem with Nazis here. You're like, dude, they were funded by the Southern Poverty Center. I knew it, dude. Every time one of those videos come out, too coordinated, too well dressed to just randomly happen. I mean, yes, the Klan had an outfit.
Filmed, always perfectly filmed.
Perfectly filmed. Like,
I mean, those are great. Those photos of the khaki protest with the tiki torches are wonderful photos. It's
I mean, the lighting's exposed. Amazing. Yeah. It's like unbelievable.
Totally.
And it's just, all you got to do, though, is just give people enough to prove that what they think is true. And all of this, too, is like, it's a manipulation of rich kids. That's what they're doing. When you're born into wealth and you have no care in the world, you become Don Quixote and you're fighting fucking windmills, thinking you're fighting monsters. That's what all these motherfuckers are doing. They're all these Antifa and BLM riots that were happening in Oregon. All the people rioting were the rich kids from people who worked at Nike, which is slave shit. And they're like fighting it's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And it's always the rich kids that start the revolution. Poor people just are like, this is my life. I got to get the fuck out of here. You know, and you have like this whole thing with communism where it's like, we got to get rid of fucking poverty, dude. Listen, poverty sucks. But you know what comes out of poverty? Some of the greatest ideas you've ever heard of, some of the greatest athletes, some of the greatest musicians, because people have to work to change their fucking life. If you put them on universal basic income, which is a fancy name for welfare, okay? Right. Everyone's on welfare. Nobody gets out. You have no drive to change your life. You have no drive.
That's what they're pitching us now, though, right? I mean, Elon Musk was on stage with Larry Fink saying everyone's going to have their own robot in their home that can raise their kids and walk their dogs and take care of the elderly. And I'm thinking, then why be human? Yep. Like, why be alive? Like, why would we want that? But I mean, that is what they're pitching right now. It's very weird to watch the two fighting oligarchs, so like Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris and all them. They're fighting the oligarchs, and on the other side, they're fighting the oligarchs. And meanwhile, Agenda 2030 hasn't been interrupted at all. And I think we got to start looking at that because, you know, you said earlier about 9/11 being the time when things shifted. I certainly think that happened. But we have to also understand that the full track and trace surveillance that's going on, the 702, all of that. This, at least in America, people should be standing up against the surveillance system. And instead, I see people waiting in line to have their, eyes scanned, their retinas scanned at the airport as if like they never saw, Minority Report, that is the future of thumbprints are retinas. So it just seems to me like half of America doesn't even care and doesn't know that we're walking right into that. And the other half thinks it's their neighbor. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as you have fat homeless people with iPhones, good luck getting anyone to revolt. As long as you keep feeding them fucking pornography and sports and drugs, it's like they're just never gonna. I mean, like look at what's happening all over the world. There are revolutions happening everywhere. Nothing in America, and you have these fucking Antifa people going after ICE, and I have a lot of problems with ICE. I could sit here and tell you that they're using a sledgehammer for something that needs a scalpel. But, you're more mad at ICE than you are at the Somalians stealing all your money. Like, the people who want to raise taxes on everything fucking don't care that there's billions of dollars of tax fraud going on, which is why Kamala Harris picked Tim Walz, because she could get him $1 billion for her fucking basically paying to fill arenas to give the illusion that she had a groundswell of following. That's all, dude. They did all the geo tracking on it. It was all the same people in every fucking arena. It was just the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Just moving around, following them around to different fucking shows.
What do you make of them not putting any attention on the Tulsi Gabbard releases that came out about Anthony Fauci and the CIA and all of that? I mean, I fully believe that the pandemic was planned, that it was released on purpose, but it also looks like it's a CIA international operation as well. And she put out all these documents, and apparently Anthony Fauci has an auto pen pardon from 2014 to now, and it looks like nothing's going to happen. But it does look like it was released. I mean, they can say it was an accidental leak, but the more that's coming out, it looks like the pandemic was put upon us, and nobody's going to be held accountable for it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. If you ever talk to Monica Perez, and Brad Binkley, they bring up something called the SPARS pandemic simulation.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah,
and they break it all down, and Fauci will be the fucking the Burning Man that they'll throw under the shit and all this stuff that you already hear them saying. We should set up a fund for the people who were affected by the COVID. It's all part of this fucking plan, dude. He'll be the fall fucking guy.
Do you think he'll be alive to be the fall guy, or you think they're just waiting for him to be dead?
No, he'll wait till he dies, and they'll be like, "We gotta get him." You're like, "But he's dead." Oh, but we still we'll dig him up and we'll fucking set him on fire. Whatever they're gonna fucking do. But yeah, dude, I don't believe in viruses. And this was all about putting in fucking bioweapons into your body. And
Event 201, too. I mean, they did the whole run through.
Yeah.
It was the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, Johns Hopkins, who gets the most grant money of any institution in our country, and the whole media, and Avril Haines, who's the CIA under Brennan, who Brennan, was the 12-year head of the CIA station in Saudi Arabia, and gave 13 of the hijackers their visas to come here, and then he ends up being the only intelligence guy supporting Obama, and then then we have 9/11 and all of that, and nobody. I mean, it's just at this point, I just don't know. In America, it doesn't seem like treason or sedition even are a thing, so everyone gets away with it. Because I always thought, go ahead.
If Benedict Arnold was alive today, he would be on CNN. He'd be a talking head, being like, just this Trump guy, he's out of control. Didn't you commit treason? Well, anyways, Trump, bad guy, right? And let's listen. The elites, they're all sorcerers, and they look at us like cattle. They're all sorcerers. They all practice. I'm not even kidding when I say black magic. They worship fallen. They worship entities. That's what they worship. And their job is to bring down humanity. They want to destroy God's greatest creation. That is at the center of fucking everything, okay? That's the center. That's why they're poisoning your food. That's why they're poisoning your air. That's why they're poisoning your water. And that's why they're filling you up full of chemicals. And that's why every guy is half gay. Because in the 1990s, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but new metal, which was like Rage Against the Machine, fucking Limp Bizkit. Did you see the crowds? How insane those crowds were? That fucking alpha aggro energy that scared the shit out of them, dude. So now let's make everybody a fucking twink. Let's make everybody a twink, dude. At the hotel we were staying at. In Austin, nicest guys. An army of twinks were parking our cars.
Oh yeah.
Collectively, they could not lift a fucking bar and weight. I'm like, dude, you guys. Do
you think there are cycles to that though? Because think of the 70s, glam rock, Bowie and T-Rex. Those guys all dressed like women. Same with the hair bands.
Yeah, but that was
Poison.
Performative.
That was different. Yeah.
Look at the pictures of guys from the 70s. They were all rough, fucking fur everywhere.
And they were boning, but they were boning.
Johnny, have you listened to how women in their 20s talk about kids and how men in their 20s? No, it's not. It's all the same thing.
From what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the art, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. The art
that was women's lib time.
Was presentable. But they still wanted to have kids, Johnny. The women just wanted to sling pee. Okay, yeah, sling some pee, have a good time.
Yeah.
But they still wanted to be moms. Now it's like these girls talk. You watch these girls on the show. It's like, oh my god, could you imagine having a kid? How like gross that fucking is. What it does to your fucking body. I don't want to ruin my body. Your body's gonna get ruined. It's called aging. It's like it's the way it goes to everybody. You can just shine it up, but still like. It's just is what, dude. So I'm on stage at shows. I go, are you looking at a young guy? I go, hey, you trying to get laid? Nope. I'm like, what? Like I used to wake up like time to get laid. That's all I would do, and my whole life was just trying to get laid, dude. That's what these kids want nothing to do with it. If I would go back 10 years ago, guess what? In 10 years, women will hate kids and men don't want to get laid. They'd be like, dude, you're fucking retarded. Okay,
True.
That would never happen. Now it's because they're all hopped up on chemicals, dude. And it's running psychological fucking, it's messing with their neurons and their chemical makeup, and it's all anti-human eugenics.
Eugenics. Yep. 1,000%.
Sorcery,
That's the whole
dude.
Point.
It's all sorcery.
Eugenics on our own,
Anti-human.
though. On our own, though. We're making that decision. You used to think eugenics was like, oh, they're going to make you infertile. No, you don't even want to fuck now.
Yeah, because you're full of chemicals.
Yeah, eugenics was like, oh, they're going to infertilize you and they're going to make sure. No, now it's like you don't even want to do it.
Yeah.
But that MK Ultra thing I was talking about, that Dr. Juliet Engel, who was in the Haight-Ashbury experiments, said that the long-term goal was to drug people very, very young so that they wouldn't want any of this. I think it's just another eugenics thing. And then, in 2008, when they had the Good Club meeting with Bill Gates and Ted Turner, who's a huge eugenicist, and Buffett and Bloomberg and all of them, and they had that meeting, and they said the two things they were going to use to, depopulate or control population were pandemics and essentially climate change. So here we are, decades later, and it worked.
Al Gore is still talking about climate change.
And people are cheering him on.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's just watches.
Weren't we supposed to be underwater by now?
Yeah, we're supposed to be all wearing scuba gear all the time because the ice caps melted.
He's another one. That was a psyop. That giving the inconvenient truth and giving it an Oscar and having everyone, and it was all planned. It was all about transfer of wealth and natural resources to the international banks and us doing it willingly. With all our money. Don't forget, John Podesta got $300 billion during the 20 to 24 auto pen regime, and nobody knows where it went, but it was for climate change somehow. So, I mean, there's still
just
enough people that believe
their
it.
pockets. And it's so funny.
It's all our money.
If you watch the media, they'll be like, and listen, I don't trust any party. Again, I'd rather live in a conservative world with a liberal rebellion, art and stuff like that. But most people can't handle progressivism, okay? With that said, if you watch the mainstream media, they would tell you that Republicans, and there is part of this war and stuff going on with the Middle East and whether we're captured by a particular country or not, okay? There is a feeling of like, this is some bullshit. But if you actually look at the numbers, the Democrats are rock bottom. And how can you tell that? Through their funding. Their national party has like $3 million. Like $3 million. So when Hillary kneecapped Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders could have been a part of it, just like Al Gore was when George Bush. Al Gore could have voted to investigate his election. He voted against it.
That's why they gave him that whole career after. Yeah.
Right.
He voted
they gave him climate change.
Yep. They're like, dude, good job. Change. They petted on the head and go, good boy, good boy, good boy. And now he's got a career talking about mystical climate change.
He lost it for a while, though. Remember, he grew that beard out and gained a ton of weight. And
they probably reprogrammed him.
Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
he went to school for theology, and he ended up being the climate change guy.
So if you study like... After Hillary Clinton kneecaps Bernie Sanders, which whether that was kayfabe or not, pro wrestling, okay, people were upset because the old joke is Bernie Sanders was filling up arenas while fucking Hillary Clinton was putting Sam Tripoli numbers in a fucking high school cafeteria.
That's the old joke.
Yeah, that's how I make fun of myself, Joe.
I like that a lot.
So she didn't have it going, and she really disenfranchised a lot of people, especially the moderates, dude, who did not like her.
Yeah.
Okay. So after that, the funding for the DNC hit rock bottom. Do you know how they started making money? They went to the cartels in fucking Latin America who was filling their coffers up with fucking money, probably through USAID.
Yes,
USAID
exactly.
sends it down.
Through USAID. Exactly.
So now you have it. They got no money. The DNC has no money. How do they get it now? Tax fraud. Stealing all this money in Minnesota, New York, and California. That's why Gavin Newsom's polling numbers are so bad, but Kelce keeps telling you he's in a chance to win it, is because all the $300 billion that Gavin Newsom has stolen in California is being funded into his bank account and into the DNC to run all their funding and all their elections for upcoming so they can do the mail-in ballot shit and all that stuff. That's how they have to do it now. That's why Minnesota, that's why she grabbed, again, I said before, Tim Walz, because she knew he could get her $1 billion that she needed to fill these arenas up to give the illusion that she had a following going on.
Yeah, there's also reports, and I think they're right, that $200 million was funneled back from Ukraine into the DNC when Kamala Harris was going.
FTX. So what would happen was they sent all this money to FTX, all right? Then FTX would, no, they sent all this money to the Ukraine, and the Ukraine would buy FTX coins, and then FTX would give that money to all the DNC and like one Republican. Right? Right? Yeah. So that's how they fund. That's money laundering as well. And then if you want
to like BLM in 2000, 100%. A lot of that money to BLM went to the Democratic Party for Joe Biden.
Yeah, it either went to the Democratic Party or BLM buy mansions in Beverly Hills in all white neighborhoods.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, you love black people so much, but you're living around white people. Gotcha. Right? So it's and then they got to pay for all the ballots that they have to fill out. Because, elections, they take forever. Like Argentina just had, or somewhere in fucking Costa Rica.
Colombia
had 30 million.
Right, but you know what happened in South America? So now 7 countries have voted since Trump came back into office and ended USAID, and all of them have voted for the Trump candidate of that country. Because USAID was really running those elections. They've been running elections all over the world for decades.
100%. Cuba's now is
people
capitalist.
Are voting for the best candidate for their country. You see that in El Salvador, in Peru, in Colombia, in Costa Rica. They're voting for the champion for that country rather than the globalist choice, and that is 100% because USAID got cut off.
Yeah, so you have 7 countries in Latin America that were socialist, now are going capitalist. And then you have Cuba. The Cuban Communist Party voted for free markets, privatized owing, privatized business. And so you have all these countries that were either communism and all socialism leads to communism.
Right.
Right? All flipping while fucking New York and LA are like, rich kids are like, we need socialism. Your family made money off of capitalism, you dumb bitch. Now, again, I've said it on almost every podcast, but I'll say it again. We do have socialism. It's called corporate socialism. Elon Musk is a fucking trillionaire because of government contracts.
Oh, Sam.
Yes, I know I'm dropping some fucking hammers on everybody here, but he's that's it. It's like they're getting contracts that you and I don't have a chance to bid on.
Yeah.
And that's where all this money's coming from, because Tesla and SpaceX hasn't made enough money to warrant a fucking trillionaire. And that's why as soon as the IPO came out, all the normies got to invest in it. And then boom, it shoots down 30%. It's literally like a crypto scam.
The whole stock market is. That's why they're pissed at cryptos, because it's just ripping off all their bad ideas that have
you ever heard the LIBOR scandal, Mel?
Oh yeah, of course. I've done shows on it.
It's the craziest,
it's unbelievable
fucking story that you can't
They're all
even believe.
such criminals. It's just so crazy. And what is money anyway at this point? I mean, what's coming is, I just feel like I'm sure you talked about it with other people, but this tokenization of everything, you'll own nothing and be happy. It just seems like with all the distraction, the people that are winning are still the international banking cartel to this day. That's why I want Trump to rescind that International Organization Immunity Act of 1945. He can do that. He should actually rescind the 1947 National Security Act too. But that 1945 protection immunity, let nations that the IMF destroyed see their books and see what happened, because nobody's been able to look into any of those banks, including those banks that, the IMF with their loans have destroyed so many countries, and nobody can do anything about it because for some reason they got immunity. I don't know why. No banks should have immunity. No elected official should have immunity. I just, this whole immunity for the vaccine manufacturers, like who's giving immunity out for anything? It should be all rescinded. People should have to deal with the consequences of their actions and their theft.
I agree, dude. I totally agree. And
I mean, if we have no accountability of anything, we're not going to have an accountability for COVID. We're not going to have accountability for the fake war and that killed millions of people all over the world for money. We're not going to have any accountability. When Rumsfeld died, I was like, oh, God. Yeah. Then Cheney died, and I was like, oh, now we're never going to have accountability for any of them.
Yeah.
It's just like, it
Kissinger
can't go on
died.
forever.
Kissinger
Peacefully.
died.
Oh, God, I know. The worst.
Why his trans
Brzezinski.
wife sat next to him saying goodbye.
Goodbye, my love.
I love you so much.
Auf Wiedersehen.
You made me feel like a woman.
Oh, my God. It's so creepy.
When's the last time someone was held accountable for some crazy shit in America?
I'll tell you who. Madoff. And you know why? Because he ripped off rich people.
He was one of them.
He ripped off the rich. That's why he's in jail.
Madoff and Weinstein.
Yeah, I guess everyone's like, bring back Weinstein when we had good movies and hot leads.
I know.
Not fucking mids. Okay.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
He'd make a good movie if he came back, I think.
No, but it's like Izzy said in the last episode. You had this Me Too movement, which was a giant psyop.
So fake.
To go into
Totally
eugenics, fake. Which is the start a war, divide and conquer between men and women. And you had all these upper class women of mostly white, some of other ethnic groups, crying about misogyny and sex this and sex that on the set. And then they're all quiet about Epstein, about what's happening in the Ukraine, what's happening with this giant gang essaying scandal in Europe right now.
Oh
250,000. And none of these women have come forward at all. Not one of them.
There's 250,000 missing unaccompanied minors in New York. I mean, in America right now that are being sex trafficked or worse or mind controlled. But I mean, that's a real number. They're missing all those children in America that were let in through the border. And the craziest part is the guy who's responsible for it is leading in the governor's race in California. Becerra was the one that came up with the things where the children came in, they got them to Pomona or wherever they went first to process them. And the rule was that they had to get those kids out to so-called sponsors within 10 days. So they were trafficking children by the tens of thousands every single day, essentially between 2020 and 2024. I mean, it's that bad. I had a show with Lara Logan, and she said that, most of these kids probably aren't even alive anymore.
And then if you want to get into like the homeless situation and missing children, look at the foster care program. A woman, one senator tried to do something about it. They went to her house.
Schaefer. Yeah.
She was dead. Her husband was dead. They said it was a murder-suicide. Yep. That feeds the machine. These kids, 70 or like 80% of the children go missing are from foster care. I mean, Jared's from Subway was like, she doesn't have parents. You're like, what the fuck, man? Monsters walk amongst us. And most people, and so I've been talking about this a lot, about why Hollywood is okay with Satanism and why they're okay with pedophile shit in comedy and all that shit. It's because when you set up a system of political correctness and every meanie thing is outlawed, the only thing left is Satanism and pedophilia as the edgy shit. And the reason they're okay with pedophiles hurting kids is because kids can't organize. They can't protest. They can't hit up Amazon or Nike to get your fucking deal canceled, get you kicked off a fucking show. Kids can't do that. You know who can do that? White progressive women are really great at that shit. They just all sync up and they just get people kicked off for looking at people the wrong way. Jeremy Piven lost his entire career because she said he fucking touched her breast. His whole acting career, gone. The guy's one of the best actors to ever do it. Can't work.
I mean, one of the first, and politically, I disagreed with him about nearly everything, but like Al Franken, that was the dumbest.
Oh, right. Remember that? Look at how far we've come. That would be nothing now.
Nothing at all.
I don't even understand, and then we have the whole normalization of like this Bonnie Blue and all all of that. It's like we're living in Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't even know what to
We
do.
literally are living in Sodom. They want to have a fucking gay festival at the fucking Dead Sea. That is where Sodom and Gomorrah was. God flattened that motherfucker. Nothing could live there. And the gays are like, let's have a party. Let's fucking get weird in Sodom and Gomorrah. You can't write this shit. If I wrote that, somehow it would it's like, dude, no one's going to believe that. No one's going to believe a bunch of gays are going to go party at the Dead Sea where Sodom and Gomorrah was, where everyone was wicked. You think anyone would buy that story? You're like, yeah, I do.
I do.
Demonic shit makes no fucking sense, and they just keep fucking doing it. Did we miss anything? Anything else we got to push out of the book?
What, me?
Yeah.
No. I just want people to understand that we are a captured nation, and if you want to know how it happened and why and what we can do about it, read the book. It's a first in 4. So I hope people check it out. Infiltration instead of invasion.
I will buy it.
Thank you. America Betrayed 1944 to 1954. And there it is. It was there.
Nice book. Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I mean, it's so deep and you want to fight over fucking. Yeah, it's just hilarious. Like, all of history is a lie. All of history is a lie. You got everyone getting pissed at slavery now and they want reparations. Why slavery is literally happening right now in Libya because fucking Obama illegally assassinated a leader, which destabilized it. And now Africans are being sold by fucking Muslims in open air slave trades. Like that means like if you went down to the Grove over here, you could buy a slave. And then to make it even crazier, dude, all the black comics are doing jokes about buying slaves. I mean, just think about how crazy that fucking is. Like, how captured are you? That your whole thing is about oppression, and then you make jokes about people who are literally oppressed. Not generations ago, and you're trying to get a grift. And God bless. I heard one guy, if you did it in today's, with inflation, we're owed $500 million each. I'm like, shoot for the stars, guy. At this point, shoot high so they come low, dude. They'll be like, we can't give you 500. How about 20 mil? Okay, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just absolutely ridiculous, dude. It's a clown world. We are a nation of retards fucking governed by psychopaths. That should be the name of your book. Nation
Pretty
of
much.
Retards.
Next one.
All right, Mel. One more time. Tell them where they can find you and anything else you want.
Okay. TheMelKShow.com. I put all of the documents that are in the book are on that website. They're all real. It is Infiltration Instead of Invasion, America Betrayed, 1944 to 1954, how our country was captured. And The Mel K Show is on every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1:30 Eastern on X and Rumble Live. And then weekends we do interviews. And Substack, The Mel K Show.
Mel, you're crushing it. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You're one of my favorites.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Thank you.
All right, let's break down the episode. What'd you guys think of the lovely, the talented Mel K? Bye, 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 bye.
She's great.
She's great. I created a monster, and nobody wants to admit she's no more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
she's writing books, Substacks, Daily Show.
I love that everyone I help ends up doing better than me. It's like unbelievable. Why can't I help myself?
You're amazing. Like it's that. Well, it's like that one movie, Good Luck Chuck or whatever. Like they get married after you date them, type of thing. Like you work with them and they blow up.
So funny. A buddy of mine wanted to pitch that movie, and the person was like, "That's the dumbest story I've ever heard in my life." Next thing you know, someone's making a movie about it.
Oh, that's funny. See, when I was a kid, a young man, I always considered.
When I was a young man,
I dated a man. 2 women that became lesbians after, and I always just considered myself the training wheels for lesbianism.
Johnny's got garbage dick.
It's something. Yeah, I think it's because I'm super. I was open minded for where I'm from. It wasn't.
Oh, that bad.
So what happened? What Johnny's admitting to is he let her peg him, and she's like, "I like strap-ons."
No. Like I wouldn't be judgmental. I'm not a judgmental person. Like in that way.
Do you think Johnny's not a judgmental person?
Not from
where he's from. From where he's from, he's probably super open minded.
That kind of stuff. Like I'm judgmental certainly, but not like moral stuff. But I just don't view that as a morality.
I respect that.
Did you see that
smoking hot? By the way,
I was about to say, did you see them being smoking hot? Did you see them being lesbians at all in the relationship?
Well, not
well, she
really.
constantly like, let's roller derby.
And I don't want to get too personal about it because people from back home listen to the show, but it's no, I don't even want to. Yeah, I think there are other things going on there.
Johnny
other
doesn't
variables.
want to come back to a city with pitchforks and knives.
No, there's no city, believe me. But no, good and beautiful woman.
Good and beautiful women. Guys, go to samtripoli.com. Going to Miami. St. Petersburg, Lawerence, Kansas. And then we're going to go to Bang Bang, Tulsa, Dallas, New Orleans, Austin. Yeah, bang. We did it. Also, jump on my mailing list. Give a shit, please, somebody. Just give a flying fuck about my life. Okay? Join the mailing list. Premium content. I put my content up against anybody's. Okay? Anyone in the conspiracy world, I think my shit bangs, dude. My thumbnails are fire.
Brand new Kurt. Come on, go get it.
Come on, the king of the twinks. Look at those twinks. They love Kurt. Look at him, dude. He's such a grown-ass man with a bunch of grown-ass lady boys. Johnny, talk about Cash Daddies.
Oh, yeah. Cash Daddies is a podcast and a Patreon. It's 2 things. Do the calculations there, folks. And one of those things is Howie Dewey, who is a financial genius and a real-life retard. And he...
Idiot savant. Heavy on the idiot.
Yeah. And he will teach you about Wall Street and investing and retirement and IRAs and options trading and, puts and covered calls, all that shit, bro.
That's why we love Cash Daddies. Go back to samtripoli.com. Watch Dying Laughing. Chaos Twins set some stuff up last week. Going to make it happen. Buy gold and silver. Woo-hoo. T-shirts. By the time you watch this, will be new T-shirts up. Hopefully.
$20. That's all we're saying.
$20. Make it holler for a Sir AAA Bacon shirt. What kind of world are we living in? Grab a local celebrity shirt. I need to grab more of those. I need to grab some local celebrity shirts and wear them on stage. That'd be so.
I was thinking that you need more of your own T-shirts to wear.
Johnny, shut up. Buy gold and silver, dude. Get in it. Price smells. That's where it's at. Chemical free body and just anything you need. Bang! It's at the affiliates. Grab them now. Nuke Social, dude. What would we say it's on? Mastodon?
Mastodon.
Bro, if you're tired of the BS on Twitter and all the bots and all the stupid shit and all the censorship, go to nukesocial.com and you can get in on the greatest social media out there. Just pure, straight, street value stuff, dude. All right?
We got soccer news on fucking Nuke Social.
Yeah.
We got everything. Look at that.
Dude, it's real shit, dude. Jump on it. Love it. What else we got? Go back. Yeah, dude. Johnny, you got anything?
Hit that like button, subscribe. We got a 7:10 show at the Post Peaks and El Monte. Come get tickets.
El Monte,
at
come.
El Monte, homie.
Monte, homie.
For you whites, that's El Monte.
Yeah.
El Monte.
Yeah. Watch Deep Waters. Xavier Grail kidnaps Johnny and holds him over the fire, then talks like a black guy. Go on.
I don't approve of that. Broken Simulation. Check that out. Also, I'm on social media at Johnny Woodard on Twitter and at Johnny A. Woodard on Instagram.
Yes, guys. Yes, dude. And then go to World War Debate. Grab that. We got the Contender Series coming out, and we got the new debate coming. We will be announcing the contenders. And then finally, go to the YouTube channel and go to our YouTube channel, please. Support us at Tinfoil Hat Official. All right. Is that another one?
No.
Tinfoil Hat YouTube?
No.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. Final things on Mel. I can't wait to get her book.
You gonna read it?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a challenge for him to read the title if he can get
Johnny,
past that.
you know what? Suck it.
It's a long title. I have to say.
She's great. She's wonderful. We love her. We're blessed.
She goes deep on that.
Well, she gets
all
it,
that
dude.
shit. Dude.
You know, people want to blame it on Jews. They're low hanging fruit. You go above it. It's the Bank of England. It's the Bank of International Settlements. It's an international banking cabal. You gotta know that, dude.
She's got the names right on the tip of her tongue. There.
It's crazy to find out. Like, I mean, obviously she have a number, but you'd assume it'd be like a couple Nazis. How many actually came here after the World War II?
17,000.
That's nuts. And that's the one they told us about. How many of them like kind of snuck in or went somewhere else?
Yep. I mean, there was a big 60-minute one on all the Nazis in Canada. They all moved there. None of them changed their names. Like,
That's funny because she was saying a bunch of them changed their names. That's what do you think? Why did they change some of their names and not the others?
I don't know. Von Braun, he was on trial. Didn't change his name. Sorry, dude. You know,
maybe he's like too famous or something.
Maybe he's like, fuck you and the click you claim. Fuck you and the click you claim. He didn't give a shit. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please enjoy these highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Candace Owens had this guy on, or maybe this is her. I can't remember. It's been a while since.
Johnny, your thing is haunted. I just gotta say that.
This is her talking about the paver emergency, which, if you've heard that phrase, you know. If you haven't, get ready to learn about paver emergencies.
Paver emergencies.
I get a call, and I don't answer my phones on Sunday. They left a message, and the gentleman said, "Hey, you know, this is kind of weird," and he was kind of hemming and hawing on the phone.
This was 5 days later then?
Yes,
You said it was on Sunday? Okay.
Yeah, on Sunday. And he says, "We've got a paver emergency." So I texted the guy. I said, "Look, I don't work on Sundays. My guys don't work on Sundays.
Paver.
Monday, what's a paver emergency?" So he sends me pictures of right where Charlie was murdered. And he says, "We need to put pavers in this place." So I called him, and the guy seemed like a genuine good dude. He says, "Look, we don't have a whole lot of answers. We're told,
and we don't want a lot of answers. Okay, we don't have a lot of answers. We don't want a lot of answers.
Today and tomorrow needs to be in by Monday, and we've never done pavers. We've never installed them, and we want to make sure we do it right." He says, "Would you come help?" I said, 100%. So I went and got my trailer. I started calling my guys, and none of my guys answered. And so I started calling my other guys, my brothers. And then I called another
Mexicans.
So I put together this ragtag team,
Start calling Home Depot.
Showed up on that Sunday, within an hour and a half of when they called us with our trailer. And we met with a couple of dudes. I was telling you there wasn't a whole lot of information. There was two guys that were kind of in charge. One of the guys was in charge of a state-owned facility in American Fork, and the other guy was in a maintenance groundskeeper on a facility in Provo. And these are the two guys I'm corresponding with. The first guy, the second guy that I hadn't talked to on the phone basically said, "Hey, look, we're not talking to anybody. We're not saying anything to the media." He says, "This is above our pay grade. The FBI and the state, the governor and the FBI," that's what they told me. The governor and the FBI said they want this done by Monday, and we need to get it done. We're not asking questions. We're not talking to the media. And so I said, okay.
The FBI and the shady governor want this done by Monday. It's a paver emergency. He asks an appropriate question. what is a paver emergency? Like, was there just like a hole in the galaxy that someone's going to fall through? Can't wait to lack of Sunday.
Yeah, I mean,
it keeps getting weirder, dude, with this Charlie Kirk thing, huh?
well, I mean, we've known that for a while, so I don't think it's getting weird.
Well, no, but to hear it from the guy, like the actual, because it's so many times these things happen, and you're like, well, why doesn't somebody interview the guy who actually did the work, you know? And now, for once, we finally get to hear from the person. Like they're calling him, saying, "Hey, we got to cover this." I mean, literally a cover. Like literally, they covered up the land where it happened. When have you ever heard? And
dude,
JFK is the last time there was something like this that.
I can't believe this guy's alive. Like, who makes that? Who does that interview?
Well, that's why it's suspicious. Also, I mean,
it's be like, hey, dude, hey, man, you want to come on my random podcast no one's heard of? Nothing against the guy. We all started some, and it may be a big podcast. I should have said that, but hey, you want to come on this podcast and talk about what the governor of Utah and the FBI told you to do? I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, like, what? I mean, you just saw what they did with bricks and figs, mini figs or mick figs or whatever that's called. Dude, the Mormons don't F around, dude.
Have you did you watch the CoffeeZilla video, by the way? It's not like it. We didn't get the whole story on that the first time.
The whole thing was it's not as much as we thought it was. And who did he basically at the end say he thought it did? I couldn't make it to the end. I kept trying.
Well, also, it
Johnny,
seems
something's
like,
going on with your microphone. Keep going. Every time you breathe into it, it goes Zorro.
Zorro?
Yeah, like Zorro. Like distortion.
I don't know what to do about it. I mean, I've already changed the microphone. So I can't even remember what you had. What is it? Your daughter?
My daughter just came in. She's in giggle monster mode right now where she just can't stop laughing. And she just came in with the biggest, like, Joker face, just walking towards go, get out. She just starts laughing, dude.
That's so funny, dude. Fuck, what did you, I don't even remember what you asked me.
Like, it's like, no disrespect to this guy, but you have to be one of the dumbest people in the world to come out and say that. Dude, when anything is like, and the FBI, you're like, okay, this story can't be told.
It's not. If someone said it's the audio port, it's not the audio port because I've tried both XLR inputs on the. It's something with the board and maybe the USB cable, but I can't figure it out right now. Okay, so it's just the other Charlie Kirk thing that I wanted to pull up. Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah, someone described it perfect. It sounds like the lightsaber static when they hit it. Zing.
Oh, so it's awesome. Okay.
Shattered.
Yeah, this is just more of the Charlie. Candace is
Everyone's
really
asking.
committed
It
to
was
this.
Ninja, not Ghost. Ninja. We're trying to put them to
Shattered.
sleep. They won't listen.
In a million pieces. And
Okay.
sure enough, unbeknownst
Mute
to me,
yourself, Johnny. God,
I am.
damn,
It takes a second. I can't do it. I have to go over there when it changes and then come back and mute it.
God,
when I got these photos, I just thought in my head of the car, in my mind, I was like, oh, it looks like glass. What is that? Like somebody's sunglasses? What is that? I did not recognize. I didn't realize that he had this entire theory. And what's strange, which needs reminding, is the speed at which the feds got rid of the car. They had it towed, cleaned, towed again, and resold or put up to be resold. That is unimaginable. Unimaginable that any well-meaning police force would move to do that unless they were trying to get rid of evidence. Doesn't make sense.
Who wants to buy that
one of the
vehicle?
biggest pieces of evidence as that is a part of this court hearing, but rather they contained it, got everything they needed at the hospital, according to Frank Turek, and then said, all right, get rid of this car. Don't let it see the light of day. And I was very lucky to get my hands on these photos, which reveal that there are certainly shards of something on the floor. Okay. And we're showing you these photos here. We can keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was, I don't know, did you see that Turning Point supposedly deleted videos where Charlie Kirk said nice things about Candace Owens? Like they went
yeah, and they're like making AI videos of him like speaking highly of Israel. I mean, they're just retards.
They just burned every, I mean, they could have, if they had played it right, they could have become even bigger off of this, and now they've just burned all their credibility and will go down in flames, I think, in the coming months. We were in, and I'm not sure if, did you see this? Was this while we were in Austin, that these people were protesting Rogan in front of...
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/SamTripoli.
Primer Impacto, con las noticias más increíbles e impactantes de la televisión. Primer Impacto, desde esta tarde a las 6 por Univisión, Puerto Rico.
And we're back. It's your boy XG Marks the Spot. What's up? What's up? Shout out to Brazil. I was gonna do this stream before the game started at 10 o'clock, but y'all fools shut it down. Y'all said let me watch the game first. But shout out to Brazil. But I got a quick PSA public service announcement. She finally hit us up, dog. We finally got to her. That viral fucking video finally got to her. The girl from EDC, she finally hit me up, dog. She hit me up in the DMs. She asked me to take the video down. I'm gonna show you guys the Instagram video. It's kind of fucking nuts, dog. I feel like a high school sweetheart, like we finally reconnected again or some shit like that. Cause I seen blogs and podcasts be like, dude, I'm trying to reconnect with so and so. Do you guys know her? Let's find her, and we found her, dog. We found the EDC girl, dog. She's finally here. Just a quick rundown for everybody who doesn't know. This is the girl from EDC. I'm there vlogging, chilling with the homies, smoking, listening to dope-ass music at the Mesa, and I'm just vlogging, like I said, and I catch this girl wearing a t-shirt that says, I'm here to drink and fuck, and I'm almost done drinking. Something like that. I'm messing it up. I'm just going to play the video so you guys know what I'm talking about. Shout out to her. Shout out to you guys. I don't know how she found it, but let's play this video, dog, because I'm super proud that we finally found her, dog. I'm going to give you guys her at, so don't be maniacs, homie. Hit her up. If you're going to hit her up, you better offer 2 weekends EDC VIP, dog. But for everybody who hasn't seen the video, if you haven't seen the EDC vlog, it's epic. It's viral. Go check it out. I had to blur the FUCK because YouTube's on its P's and Q's right now. They're not messing around. We can't smoke on fucking live streams. We can't really say the F word. We gotta follow the rules right now. We're monetized, so let's keep it up. But this is the girl, dog. Boom, nigga. Look at that. I came here to drink and fuck. And I'm almost done drinking, bro. She was just in the wild, bro. There's no one near her, bro. No vato. Let's run it, though. But we found her. I said move. I'm trying to record a bit. Because we got her at now. We got her at now, dog. She hit us up. She finally hit me up, dog. I'm super proud of us. Proud of the podcast, proud of the viralness, dog. One of the videos almost hit like fucking, I think almost like 20 or I don't know. It was like almost 250,000, but it was nice, dog. It was dope. But let's go to my Instagram. Let's check this out, dog. Let's go to the Instagram. All right. Let's find her right here, dog. What should we tell her? That's the thing is, what should we DM her? Because I want to DM her back. I mean, she asked me to delete the video. I'm going to delete it because we already got the clout. I'm not here trying to be a fucking scumbag in the building, dog. Is she single, dog? I don't know, dog. That's your guys' fucking pedo. That's your guys' job, dog. We're gonna be there at EDC again. You might be. I'm gonna try to just say what's up to her, buy her a beer or two. But let's check it. She's in the request. Where's she at? Ooh, her name's OX Lexi, dog. Can you please delete this for me? Thank you, dog. I didn't reply. If you guys want, what should I say, dog? In the comments, if you guys want something to me, what should I reply to her? Leave something in the comments. Like, I kind of want to interview her, dog. I want to interview her. I want to ask her if that t-shirt worked. Like, did she, like, because if that t-shirt works, dog, you guys should be wearing this shit, homie. You guys should buy one. Just rock at EDC, at fucking Day Trip. Just vlog it, dog. But she hit me up. This is the video, homie. Not even playing it anymore. But you guys already saw it. You guys already know. But she finally hit me up, dog. Quick public service announcement. I had to come in and tell you fools. Shout out to fucking Brazil, too. I know E-Zone's mad. The Pokemon's lost. But, yep, that's her, dog. And, quick question. Who wore it better? Who wore it better, homie? Let me see. Let's pop this one up, dog. Who wore it better, dog? 3 plates, Tommy or that chick, homie? Look at this. Who's calling my phone and won't leave me alone? I'm a big... All right, that's enough because I'm going to get flagged. But yeah, dog. Shout out to Mystic Rick for making this, dog. That's 3 plates, Tommy, after he's done making stages at concerts, dog. You don't know? Sheesh, fool. Imagínate, you got to be real down and bad as a gay guy to fucking hit up Tommy, dog. You got to be down and bad on a sick one. But since I brought up Tommy, don't forget, guys. Don't forget, Post Pizza, 710, 420. Go get your tickets now, dog. Tommy might be there. Go get your tickets now. 710 at the Post Pizza. We Don't Smoke the Same is coming back at you guys. We got a live show with Steftone from the Deftones. He's going to be there signing guitars, albums, records. Tickets are right there. Go cop them right there. Tommy might be there. Word on the street is he's not going to flake on this show. Go get your tickets now at 710. Doors open at 7:10. El Monte Post Pizza. Go get your tickets now. Goodie bags. Brought to you by Chiclets. Haydar in the building. Haydar on your radar. But yeah. And for everybody who's been asking, Tommy's finally coming back, dog. He's finally coming back. He's on the We Don't Smoke the Same show tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Me, Rock Samson, 3 plates, Tommy, back on We Don't Smoke the Same. He's going to apologize to all you fools that bought a ticket for the Comedy Store. We Don't Smoke the Same. 420 show. He's going to apologize. He's going to be back on We Don't Smoke the Same. We've all been asking for him. We've all been wanting him back. So tune in tomorrow. We're going to have the Jukebox back in town, dog. That's pretty much it, dog. I don't know what else to say. We got Tommy back in the works. I got one. Oh, dude, talking about crazy ass situations. Since Tommy, we're talking about pool party actions. Check this video out, dog. Chili sent me this one and I was dying because you don't even really know what's going on till after I pretty much tell you. So I guess this was like a pool party. I'm guessing Vegas. I don't know, maybe Palm Springs. No, this is definitely Vegas. You could just tell. But there's like a disaster going on. It sounds like a hurricane. The wind's taking the canopy everywhere. And if you watch in the middle of this video, there's something interesting going on, dog. Watch. So that shit's going down, canopy. Everybody's all, oh my God. Some people got hurt. Look at that. That bitch got hurt. That bitch is drunk. She's wearing America. But check it out, dog. Look at that fool right there, homie. Míralo. Look at that fool, dog. Chaos going on. This was about to fucking capitalize on a threesome, dog. Míralo. Hierro, compa. Bro, no worries. No worries on his mind. That sucks, though. It sucks if you got pool. If you got the fucking bottle service, that's your fucking section, and that shit goes down. But, míralo. Míralo. Uy, no más, compa. Good for him, dog. Shout out to that fool, dog. But it's so funny how someone's trying to capture disaster and this fool's having the time of his fucking life. That fool's yelling. That's security. Look at that. Oh, fuck, dog. That's crazy. That's a sick-ass pool party. I'm not gonna lie. That's how it's gonna be at the 710, dog. 710, We Don't Smoke the Same. Steftone from the Deftones. E-Zone, the whole squad's gonna be there. Goodie bags. And guess what? Hank the Tank's gonna pull up. If you guys all know who Hank the Tank is, we've done this multiple times. The Post Pizzas lets us bring an Oz tank for some apparent reason. So you know E-Zone's gonna be there with the tank. Hank the Tank, baby. He's gonna be there. We're gonna be able to Nas it up with Steftone from the Deftones. Go get your tickets now. The reason I brought that shit up again is because I got this crazy ass fucking.
Go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.